Hey guys, Takaji Down Under here. Now, what you are looking at is one of my favorite Mechagodzilla figures in my entire collection, and it is a cornerstone of my Kiryu display. That is the Aoshima Mechagodzilla 3 model kit. Let's take a look at it. As stated before, guys, this thing is actually a model kit, and what that essentially means is you get to paint and customize this thing however you want, and I absolutely love that. So not only is it Mechagodzilla 3, my favorite incarnation of the character, but it's also my favorite rendition of the character, and that is Mechagodzilla as seen in Godzilla Tokyo SOS. So this model kit here comes from the company Aoshima. I can't remember how much I paid for it initially. I think it was close to 120 Australian dollars, which is very cheap considering what you end up getting. After assembly, you have a full, complete figure that stands roughly 12 inches tall with some incredible accessories. And again, as stated before, guys, you get to paint this thing to your heart's content. So I'll talk about that in just a second, but first I just want to talk about the general aesthetics and why this model kit is actually really cool, starting with the articulation. So taking a quick look at the articulation, that's one of this thing's biggest strong points. Being a model kit, it was designed from the ground up. Every single part was intricately designed and thought and planned ahead. So because of that, you actually get some really nice articulation. Things that the SH MonsterArts figure can't do. For example, Kiryu here can actually spread his legs pretty far out to the side, which gives you some really nice dynamic poses. You also have some really nice range in the thighs and the knees there. So you have one joint in the knee here, and you also have a joint on the kneecap. So you can fill in that gap, and that looks very nice. Now, another strong point that this figure has is that ankle. The ankle pivot on this figure is absolutely incredible. The foot itself doesn't go as forward as the SH MonsterArts figure does. However, with the hips taken into consideration and this little pivot, you can get some absolutely incredible poses. And another strong suit that this model kit has over those other figures, the waist there. You can get an absolutely insane ab crunch on that, and that is absolutely incredible. No pun intended there, guys. The tail as well is also very nice. Like an SH MonsterArts figure, it's actually individually segmented. The construction of it is a little weird actually. So you have this rubber joint, and there's a lot of those throughout the entire figure. Most of them are in the tail, there's a couple in the head, but it's like a rubber sleeve that goes over the joints that you assemble, and then you place the armor on top. And that made for a very cool building experience on this guy. But the tail articulation is also out of this world. You can get Mechagodzilla pointing his tail really far up this way. You can get him pointing his tail up really far into the sky. And as you saw, the tail fell off. But this is a good example, so you can see how that's actually constructed. So you can see the ball joints that are made there with the rubber segment on top, and then you place the armor around it. And that is absolutely incredible. And I think it looks very nice. So the tail range is absolutely insane. Mechagodzilla also has some very nice movement in his legs. The abs are incredible, but so are the arms, guys. The shoulders are on an incredible ball joint. You get an incredible crunch here at the elbow. There's double hinge there, so you can really stretch that. So I stretched it just a little too far then, but you do get an absolutely incredible bend at the elbow. Wrist is on a ball joint. You've got some upper bicep movement there. And the neck and head, guys, look at that mobility. You can have Kiryu looking straight up. It does leave just a tiny bit of a gap, but looking straight down as well. I think it's very cool. The articulation on this thing is absolutely insane. I can only describe it so much. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take some cool poses, some cool photos of this guy, and I'm going to show you that way before we take a look at the painted detail that I put on this guy. So all of the painted detail was done by me. So the sculpted detail on Mechagodzilla, as you can see, is absolutely phenomenal. This thing looks like it stepped right off the screen. It looks just like an X Plus figure brought to life, and I think that is absolutely incredible. All of Kiryu's, all of Mechagodzilla's key details are sculpted in there, including the backpack and all of that sort of stuff, and that just looks absolutely incredible. It's definitely an eye catcher on the shelf. Now, it doesn't actually come out like this. When you assemble the figure, it's more of a pearlescent sort of silver. It doesn't look great. So I actually completely repainted this, guys. What I did was I sprayed the entire figure silver. I used a specific Tamiya silver. I can't remember which one exactly, but it was just a spray silver. And I did that before I assembled the figure. So when this thing was still on its runners, all of those were spray painted silver, and it changed the entire look of the figure. Then I assembled Mechagodzilla, and then I chucked a black wash on top of it just to give Mechagodzilla that signature dirty, grimy, sort of messy look that he has in Godzilla Tokyo SOS. So I'm sure you guys are seeing that, but taking even closer look at that, you can just see how much of that detail is really brought out with that black wash. And then as you can see, I mean, look, you got even a little bit of my thumbprint there, but as you can see, I've also added in some scratches and stuff. So that was done by taking a Q-tip and a old sort of paintbrush and just running along the entire figure. That got rid of most of the excess sort of wash that gave the figure just a too much of a dirty look. So I got rid of all of the excess wash, and then this is what's pretty much left, and it really just helps bring out all of those incredible details. I mean, these look absolutely incredible, guys. And then the final touch that I did, or the final two touches rather, was some silver dry brushing. So the easiest way to look at that is to look at Mechagodzilla's backpack here. So as you can see some of that silver dry brushing there, and that just creates just a very nice weathered chipping look. And that was done over the entire figure as well. And the bright side about that is, using a dry brush, some of the paint, the initial silver spray paint, and some of that black wash actually came up with that paintbrush. So it gave it an even more scratchy, dirty look. I mean, you can see that here, some of that paint's missing. And it just looks absolutely incredible, guys. It just really worked out very, very well, almost like a happy accident. And then the final bit of detailing I did, if you can see them in there, are all of those little water slide decals, and that just adds just a teeny tiny little bit of character to Mechagodzilla there. So I put some on the top of his chest there. There's even a couple tucked away on the shoulders there. I believe actually these triangle joints on Mechagodzilla's arms are also decals, and that just looks absolutely incredible. So my custom paint job, the wash, the silver dry brushing, all of that stuff, the decals, it really just helps to elevate this figure and really bring out those already absolutely incredible sculpted details. As you can see, guys, this entire figure looks really, really nice. In fact, you can even see some of the overhanded sort of wash there. I got rid of most of that. There is a little bit of pitting still left on that, but that's okay, guys. It just adds to the overall messy aesthetic of Mechagodzilla 3, of Kiryu from Godzilla Tokyo SOS, and you take the figure further back. I mean, look at that, guys. When the camera focuses, how absolutely incredible does that look? It looks like it just stepped right off of the screen. Now, let's talk about those accessories, including the ones that are already on the figure here. These are the main accessories you get with the Mechagodzilla model kit. We already looked at these three, so we'll move those to the side and we'll come back to them. But first, I want to talk about these here. So these are the additional effects you get. You get Mechagodzilla's drill bit there. As you can see, that is absolutely incredibly detailed. And I've painted that as well. I've given it that same black sort of oily wash with some silver and gunmetal dry brushing just to bring out those details. We'll see what that looks like on Mechagodzilla in just a moment. And then additionally, you also get this little fin bit here just to plug the key port that is created with that backpacker unit. And that also has had the same treatment. Now, you do get the option to give Mechagodzilla his custom battle damaged eye. However, you sort of have to pick that as you make the model kit, and I opted to omit that. So bringing back the backpack, as you can see, I've also painted that and detailed that really, really nicely. Again, I've got that silver dry brushing over the top there, but all of these bits here of silver, that's custom painted. These bits here from the missiles, custom painted. Same with that there, and some of these silver elements here as well. So I haven't left a single part of this thing unpainted. I absolutely loved making this. And as you can tell, or maybe you couldn't, but you can now, just like the SH MonsterArts, this part is removable, and it does have that hinge there. So you can have this fire off, fly around, and explode on Godzilla. And that goes for both of them. And then just quickly looking at that railgun sort of effect again, you can see the silver dry brushing that I put on that. And that's the same on both parts, just to really bring out that detail. So let's take a look at Mechagodzilla without the armaments, shall we? This is what Mechagodzilla looks like without the heavy armaments there. As you can see, I have put that drill bit on, and I've put that back spine in there. And Mechagodzilla looks absolutely menacing, even without those details on there. I mean, that drill looks a little cool. That spins as well. That's very nice. And again, just the figure itself, the overall aesthetic, absolutely incredible, guys. Now, let's quickly do some size comparisons. For our first size comparison, guys, on the left here, we have a similar sized Mechagodzilla figure. That is the Soul of Chogokin Mechagodzilla 3, 2002 Kiryu there. And then on the right, we have our super deformed chibi style model kit Mechagodzilla 3 figure there as well. So you have a similar sized Mechagodzilla and a Mechagodzilla model kit. Now, let's bring out the SH MonsterArts Mechagodzillas. And here we have our Heavy Arms Mechagodzilla model kit compared next to the two SH MonsterArts Heavy Arms Mechagodzilla figures I have in my collection. And that about wraps it up, guys. What do you think of this Mechagodzilla model kit? Were you impressed with the articulation as I was? Do you like my custom paint scheme? Let me know down in the comment section below. I've been Dark Down Under, and I'll see you all in the next video.